CBP provides migrants with PPE from the moment they are taken into custody, and migrants are required to keep masks on at all times, including when they are transferred or in the process of being released. Our other protocol is if anyone exhibits signs of illness in CBP custody, they're referred to local health systems for appropriate testing, diagnosis, isolation, and treatment. That is our process.
Okay, that's White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki admitting that China virus-positive illegal aliens are being released into the United States without our knowledge or consent. Joining me now to weigh in, Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff Mark Lamb. Always great to have you, sir. You know, many of these illegal aliens refuse a vaccine, and they're actively spreading the China virus into our communities and across the country. Today on my radio show, a caller said to me that Biden placing people infected with a deadly virus into our towns and cities and not notifying local authorities about the health crisis is tantamount to our own government partaking in biowarfare against American citizens. What do you say, Sheriff?
Well, I agree with you, Chris, and I appreciate you having me on. But it's not just COVID. They're not telling you about TB, scabies, other issues. They're not even talking about the methamphetamines and the fentanyl that come along with them most of the time. You can hardly separate the two, the human trafficking and the drug trafficking. So, yeah, on many aspects, including COVID, our government is complicit in hurting American and costing American lives every day.
Well, over the weekend, the Department of Injustice filed a lawsuit against the state of Texas after Governor Greg Abbott there ordered an end to the transport of infected illegal aliens in Texas communities because he wanted to protect Texas citizens. Attorney General Merrick Garland does not want to protect Texas citizens. He said, quote, "In our constitutional system, a state has no right to regulate the federal government's operations, and this restriction on the transportation of non-citizens would severely disrupt federal immigration operations." What say you, Sheriff Lamb? Is Garland right that Biden has the right to infect Americans without our knowledge or consent because the federal government controls immigration?
No, he's not right. This is government overreach at its finest. Yet another example. You know, I wish they would work this hard to protect our borders as they do to hide this crisis and to keep it from the American public. Look, kudos to the governor of Texas for doing this because he's trying to protect his people. And shame on Garrick Marlin. Shame on him for coming after the state of Arizona or Texas for this because they're just trying to protect their community. That's his job. And the federal government needs to get out of the way because they're not doing their job.
Right. I want you to take a look at some mind-blowing footage. Close to 1,000 illegal aliens gathered under the Anzalduas Bridge in Mission, Texas. The scope, I mean, look at those pictures. That is amazing. The scope of Biden's border crises, not to be believed, my friends. Biden's actions are not only harming Americans, but, Sheriff, illegal aliens as well. Look at the conditions they're forced to endure.
You know that COVID exists right there, Chris. What you're seeing, you know some of those people have COVID. They haven't had time to test all those people or vaccinate all those people. And now what they've done is potentially infected even more people. And now they're going to put them on a bus or a plane and release them to cities across this country. We're not going to stand for it as sheriffs. That's why we started Protect America Now. The government's not doing their job, but we're going to stand up for the American people, the Constitution. We're going to fight against this lawlessness, and we're going to stand against bad policies like what we're seeing with this border stuff. Look, all they have to do, it's really simple. Go back to Trump's policies. They work. Put your pride aside and do what's best for the American people. Stop putting American lives at risk by bringing COVID in and dangerous drugs.
Now, you mentioned the Protect America Now project. If folks want to join your effort, what can they do? Because number one question I'm asked, Sheriff, is how do we as American citizens fight back? We don't want Biden to infect our communities and not let us know what's going on about these biological hazards. What can folks do to join your group?
They can sign up. We give them information, true, real news. They can also donate, which unfortunately in this society, you can't get a lot done without money. So be able to stand against this government, that, you know, it takes some donations, some contributions. And for those sheriffs out there listening, they can actually become members. And we actually would ask them to be, you know, active participants in this, to stand up for America, which most sheriffs are. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a movement here among sheriffs, and we hope the American people will join us.
Yeah, politicians and officials in America took an oath to protect the citizens of the United States, not to put them in danger, as Mr. Biden is. Mr. Biden and his entire administration are violating their oaths. Sheriff Mark Lamb, always appreciate your time.